Welcome back, guys, to Matchday Week 3 predictions, and let's get it started with the biggest fixture this weekend. Yes, I said it, the biggest, bigger than Arsenal, Liverpool. It's Manchester United versus Burnley at Old Trafford, where Ruben Amorin's job could be on the line. If he loses to Burnley, could he be sacked? I honestly just want to know if Andre Onana sticks with his back five with his job on the line. Is he going to trust Andre Onana with his job on the line? You know what Andre Onana needs? He needs grit boost, man. You know, if you watch the destroying videos, you would know what I'm talking about. But yeah, my predictions for this game is Ruben Amorin will change his system to a back four, and Manchester United will beat Burnley 3-1. One thing we know about Manchester United is when the manager's job is on the line, they rise from the dead. Now let's move on to the next biggest fixture for match week 3, Arsenal versus Liverpool at Anfield. And I've never been excited for this fixture simply because the last 5 meetings they've had, it's been the most boring games. 2-2, 2-2. There was one 3-1 game. That was exciting. Then it was 1-1. Then it was 2-2. But I think it could change this game just because of the firepower of both teams. But listen, I'm going to predict Liverpool beat Arsenal 4-2. I think Ekitike is absolutely going to cook Saliba and Gabriel. I think Zubimendi in that midfield at Anfield, he's going to have a disaster class. Next, let's move on to Chelsea versus Fulham at Stamford Bridge. And look, I've actually been really impressed with the way Fulham have been playing, especially their last game. I'm actually going to predict Fulham beat Chelsea 2-1 this game. Next, we've got Tottenham versus Bournemouth at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And look, I don't know what Thomas Frank is on. I don't know what he's cooking this season. He's got Xavi Simons in the door as well. That midfield is looking crazy. Xavi Simons, Papsar, Pellegrini, crazy midfield. I think that midfield is better than Arsenal's midfield. But I'm going to predict Spurs beat Bournemouth 4-2. Let's move on to Sunderland versus Brentford, and I was really impressed when they beat West Ham 3-0, but then they lost to Burnley 2-0. So I'm going to give it to Brentford 2-1 here. Next, we've got Wolves versus Everton at the Molineux Stadium, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know what it is about Everton, but I just don't like them as a football club. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because they have James Pickford in goal. I honestly hope they get relegated this season. Somehow, some way, they find a way to survive every single season, not getting relegated. But look, I'm going to predict Wolves beat Everton 5-0. Next, we've got Newcastle versus Leeds, and if you guys watched Leeds' last game, it was horrendous. I don't know who works at Leeds' scouting department, but signing Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the big 2025 is crazy. Just for that, I will predict Newcastle will beat Leeds 3-1. Next, we've got Man City versus Brighton at the American Express Stadium. There's one player I'm actually excited to watch, is Baleba. I think he's an amazing talent, but I'm going to predict Man City beat Brighton. I'm going to say, let's not talk about last game, because that was Tottenham, and we always lose to Tottenham. I think we'll bounce back this game, and I'm going to give it to us beating Brighton 3-0. Next, we've got Nottingham Forest versus West Ham. Man, West Ham will be relegated this season, unfortunately. I'm predicting Nottingham Forest beat West Ham 2-1. Next, let's move on to the last fixture of match week 3, Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. Someone actually posted that Crystal Palace will push for a European position this season, but I just don't see it. I see them as a mid-table club, so I'm going to predict Aston Villa beat Crystal Palace 1-0. That's it for match week 3 predictions. If you like the video, make sure that you like, make sure that you leave a comment as well. If you enjoy these predictions, I'm going to be doing it every week. Make sure that you give me a follow to stay up to date. But look, I'm going to make one more prediction before I end this video. I'm going to predict that Ruben Amorin, if he loses to Burnley, he will be sacked. He will be sacked. That's my big prediction.